Well, good evening, everybody. It is me, Journey Ryan, and this is the after party, guys. We have just finished our first season live. We are going to have some summer shows, but this show is just us psychics kicking back, talking with you guys, having a good time, getting your chance to just casually talk to us. I know we're usually in a crunch time and we're going 150 miles an hour and trying to get to all those different questions. So tonight we just get to sit back, talk with you guys, have a good time. We won't be doing readings tonight, so I'm not here to disappoint anybody. But tonight we're just going to be here chit chat with you. If you guys have anything you want to ask us, that isn't psychic related, like a question directly to you, but talk about like, hey, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What's this? What's that? We're going to answer it. We're going to have fun with it. I hope you guys enjoy. Now, every Tuesday night, we had a wonderful lady who has been joined with me for 8 years and hopefully more to come. And, we're just going to bring in Gifts of Faith. Hey, Faith.
Hey, everybody.
All
Hey,
right.
Jimmy.
Hi. Well, everybody is here. And everybody's saying hi, so looking forward to talking to the audience and talking with you, of course. And you know how we are going back and forth with our banter. And I hope everybody is excited to sit and chat and talk with us. Guys, we are not doing readings tonight. We will be doing readings. We'll be picking those back up in 2 weeks when we come back with our summer show with our new lineup of psychics and fun stuff. So, Faith, as I said, you've been here with me for 8 years, and this is our first season doing it live. So
On video, yeah.
Yeah, on the video. So it's definitely a lot of fun, and I get the chance to not only hear from you but see you now, and but it's definitely been a lot of fun. And I can't wait for our summer shows, as you and I have been talking about, fun new ideas and having a lot of fun with that. So I can't wait for everybody to get the chance to see that.
That should be really fun. And just a reminder to everybody, just because we're going off for only what is it, 2 weeks, a week?
June 21st will be the first show of the summer shows.
You can still call us on the site.
Absolutely. If you're trying to get a reading with us, you can go to the website and talk to us on there at www.mypsychicconnection.com. Remember, all the psychics from the show are on there. And so now I'm going to bring to the stage one of our newly added people and a fan fave, Nikki Taylor. Nikki, how are you?
I'm so good, and I'm so excited to be here tonight and get to really talk and communicate with all the people on a more personal level. So Absolutely. Thank you for setting this up.
It's going to be fun. I know. I'm waiting for everybody. I'm waiting for the funny comments to start because, I was just
from Catherine, because Catherine always has something funny to say.
Well, the thing about it is that Catherine has a lot of funny things. A lot of people say a lot of funny things in the background that we don't all get to see. So
that's true.
I would love to be able to post it every time someone says something funny or inspiring or anything to that nature. So, I like to be able to, but we're in the middle of a reading and we're trying to cram as many readings as we can in a 2-hour period. And so we don't always get the chance to do so, but we have a lot of cool and funny things that we say in the background. And me, I like to crack jokes and kind of break it up a little bit because it can become very intense. I've seen readings and the energies can be like, ooh, not so good. But definitely, I've had fun. Nikki, you and I have only got to read on a couple shows so far, but there's definitely a great future plans for you to be here and be a part of season 2 as well. And
I'm really excited to join on that. And I'm also really excited to hear you guys answer questions to get to know you guys better. Because Faith, I haven't really gotten to interact with you at all. And so it's an opportunity, it's kind of a double-sided opportunity here as I get to really get to know you guys, Journey get to know you more through, the clients, and then Faith really get to know you a little bit. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, I had told Journey to tell you, you did a beautiful job on the one show that I watched. I did watch one of your shows. You did a beautiful job. You did a really good job delivering messages, and I just wanted to tell you, welcome to the team.
Oh, thank you. I received that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, you guys all know that we have had a mystery reader every Monday night for the last hour of our show. So I'm going to bring forth one of our newest members and also a student of mine, Jesse Slate. Hey, Jesse.
Hi,
Hello, everybody. Excited to be here.
It's like the Brady Bunch here. Just need a couple more. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
We need, what's her name? What's the maid's name? Alice. We need Alice in the center.
Hey, guys, we're not doing readings tonight. This is the after party after season 1. We're just here to talk with you guys and just have fun with it. And so if you guys would like to get a reading, you can go to mypsychicconnection.com, or you can come back in 2 weeks when we bring back the show on June 21st. When we come back, that'll start our summer shows. They'll go all the way up until the first week of September. And then we're going to go on another 2-week break, and then we'll be back with season 2, which will have some new time frames and all kinds of cool and fun stuff, and new psychics being brought forth, and people who are learning the tarot are going to be joining us. It's going to be a lot of fun. I already kind of let the cat out of the bag about the witchcraft show, in which we'll be talking about different things, do's and don'ts, and there's a lot of don'ts, and because a lot of people make a lot of mistakes with that, so we definitely want to make sure that is all right. It says it's a great balance to have between guys and gals. Absolutely. That was Ray. We like to have a mixture. Remember, it's not. I know that the psychic world, a lot of women embrace it a lot easier and a lot better than men do. And that has a lot to do with the male ego and judgment. Men don't like to be judged. They can't stand that more so than a woman. Women don't like to be judged either. But a man, it bothers them more. And they don't know what they're being judged for, so it drives them insane. Rather than that, they'll end up being a jerk. The ego shows up. And when the ego shows up, it kind of crashes the party. And then nobody wants to be their friend.
I think men have so much to offer, though.
They do.
That masculine energy.
Themselves up to it.
What, Faith?
I said men do if they open themselves up to it, but a lot of men don't open themselves up to the side of spirituality.
Some do. When they do, they bring forth the male perspective that a lot of people look for, because you always can get the female perspective on things, but it's very rare to get the male perspective in this field.
Mm-hmm. So
it makes it a lot different. And, that's why I want to bring the mixture of guys and girls, or, because now it's not just men and females. There's other things people relate to, and we're open to anybody who has got a gift and would love to share it, no matter what gender or what you associate yourself. We are accepting and open to everybody. So, and I have a friend in Key West, Florida, who is a drag queen, and they do readings. They do tarot readings, and they're absolutely fabulous and hilarious. And I love that fun energy. And I think it would be great and fun to bring somebody like that has just a totally different energy. And they're just, it's not what you expect. And you expect something, and then you get the reading, and you're like, wow, that super resonated, because you're not expecting that. And then, boom, you get a reality check, and you're like, yes.
That's awesome. I would tune in for that 100%.
So would I.
Emma, when it comes to the shows, honey, just go to mypsychicconnection@gmail.com. Go on there, talk to me about the show. I got Ray's information. I'm going to be talking with her about getting that all taken care of. So I'll be more than happy to, go from there. Okay, so Sierra says, I'm curious, when you guys give readings and speak with spirits, do you interact like you do with us, or is it different? For me, I interact with spirit the same way I do with people. Like conversation, it doesn't always come through clearly. Depends on how, and I know this sounds silly, but the newer the spirit, the harder they are to communicate. It's like learning how to walk and talk. So sometimes they can speak to you. And now, mind you, this is on my behalf, not on everybody's, but they'll speak to you. They can give you subliminal messaging. They'll show you images. Sometimes they can't fully say, like I said before, it's not picking up the phone going, hey, I need to talk to Marcus. It just doesn't work that way. And sometimes they can speak clearly. Sometimes they, other spirits can speak for them. I've seen that too, where you're playing telephone through the spirit line in order to get to you. So anybody else want to answer that one?
I know for me, when I do mediumship, what happens with me is that I will see the spirit and I'll see the light behind them. They'll step forward and I'll kind of see them in shadow form. And then they will either speak to me telepathically, I'll hear it in my mind's eye, or I will see images of stuff. Like, for instance, several months ago, there was a woman on here and her son was coming through and he showed me a record. And she said, well, he got his name from a record. So they'll show me symbols of things, and that's kind of how I interpret. Or sometimes they'll tell me exact sentences and verbiage to say that's not my way of speaking. So it just depends. Like Journey said, it depends on the spirit.
Absolutely. Did anybody else want to mention? Nikki, did you want to say?
Yeah, I have kind of a mixture, and I also leave a lot of space and grace for that to evolve and change. But really, my communication with spirit started out through seeing like images in my mind's eye.
Yeah.
Although much more powerful than what you would think of your mind's eye, like to the point where my physical eyes would try to look at the images I was seeing. Like I would see them clearly on the left side, like a still image. So they would show me images of themselves. They would show me images of things that were significant. And then it was kind of like a game of charades. Yeah. And then that evolved into seeing spirit, again, in my mind's eye, but them standing at what I call the door. And then they would, again, show me themselves, their physicality. They would, still like a game of charades. And then I have seen spirit with my physical eyes as well. And it's funny because people usually ask about that, like, is that scary? Because we have a lot of movie indoctrination about what that would feel like. But my experience with that is that it actually felt much more natural than you would expect it to feel. It was very like, oh, okay, there he is.
See, not for me, Nikki, because I've already told Spirit. I've had a few family members try to come through to me like that, and I'm like, don't, or I'll pee my pants and be on the other side. Come to me in my mind's eye. I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, so. What's that? What'd you say?
For me, I just get like little phrases sometimes in my head. Like it'll be like a conversation where I'll hear something where it's like I'm talking to myself, but it's not actually myself or my own conversations in my head. I'll just kind of hear, like, I'll get a yes or a no right away. It's not all the times, but I'm still opening it up and learning. But that's what I get for now.
Yeah, but that's, it's all baby steps to, it's like muscle, and the more you work it out, the stronger you're going to get. It does develop over time, but it takes time in order to develop it. And 9 times out of 10, we go from being at the age of innocence where we're accepting and open to everything. As we grow, we realize that a lot of things that we were told weren't exactly, the truth, like Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, things like that. And then we start to lose our faith in like the spirit world because we get told different things. Luckily, I grew up in a household where I was told to keep embracing it and understanding it and continue to keep developing it. As I got into my older years, I started to do this here where you guys and talk on the radio and do readings. And I've pretty much done readings. I used to live, from Key West, Florida, was working at a bar. And I used to get patrons would come in the bar, sit with me, and I would talk to them, listen to their problems, and then I would tell them about things. And then they started calling me the psychic bartender. And that was before I started singing. And then I became a karaoke bartender. But but I was a psychic bartender for the longest time. People would come to me, and then they would come back after they would leave because they don't stay there because there are 200 people on the island that actually live there. Everybody else, the thousands and thousands of people that are there, are just vacationing. So they would come back and see me. I was still at my bar, and they would come and be like, I cannot believe this happened just like you said, blah, blah, blah. And I let them know. And this bud couple came in one night, and they were kind of sad. And I was like, what's going on, guys? You guys look a little blue. I was like, apparently you ain't sitting in the sun. Haha. They were like, no, we just found out that, we've been trying to get pregnant, but it's not happening. I said, oh, don't worry. I said, after you leave here, I said, you're going to have a baby. They're like, what? I was like, yeah. I said, don't worry. I said, I'll give you the baby elixir right now. They said, really? How do you make a baby elixir? I said, it's called tequila. Sure enough, I gave them enough tequila that they went home and had a party of their own, and voila, baby made. You're welcome.
Now, did they name the baby after you?
They did not.
Okay, well, that's bullshit.
Her name's Elizabeth, and she's very cute. And they still keep me informed and show me things about Elizabeth. She's 10 now.
Oh, wonderful. That's such a cool story.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Cool experience.
But let's see here. We got some more. Says, where did it go? Ray asked a question. Ray says, I'd like to know how much you each see. For example, do you see timelines for Maths Collective and events collectively years ahead of time? Okay, so she says, I know that psychics say not all psychics can see beyond the veil to see. All right, so I'm going to speak for myself on this one, and others can speak for themselves on it. But for me, in all honesty, reading don't have time.
Right.
Readings only come through as the information that you need or what you're asking for, but readings themselves do not have a time frame. So I kind of do it this way. I try to judge it by the seasons, and I try to judge it by what holiday is it close by. Because there's a holiday that just passed, or there's one to come. And so I try to judge it by that amount of time by trying to do math. Not saying my math's always the best on here, but what I've come across is that what I've seen and what I see, it does come to pass. And because people have free will choice, especially when it comes to love and relationship, you can see it go sooner. You can see it go later. And sometimes you can be pushed to go in the wrong direction if you interfere with your own timelines. So, it does happen. People are like, oh, well, I know you told me not to do this, but I did it anyway. Uh-huh. What happened? Oh, well, he didn't contact me. Right. Because you jumped the gun. People forget that you have to have patience. That's all about it. Everything in the world is fast. Your food is fast. your phone is fast, and people can get a message within seconds. You can contact a friend overseas in 5 seconds. The one thing that I know that has not changed is the way that humans develop their emotional energy. That has not gotten fast. So when you're trying to fall in love with somebody, love takes time. It takes time. It takes time to build. You can't expect, like, boyfriend, you're it. I found you.
I wish you were.
You're mine. That's it. I see you. You're mine. That's not how it works. You're not buying something from Walmart. You're not buying something from JCPenney or Macy's or Gucci or wherever you like to shop. It takes time. And that's the one thing I know that, a lot of people fail to remember is that, emotions, energy like that takes time to develop. But who wants to go next on that one?
I will. I do. I just like Journey said. When we see time is relative. Now, do I get time frames for things? Yes, I do. I physically will see a calendar in my mind's eye, and sometimes I'm shown a month, and sometimes I'm shown, just like Journey said, sometimes I'm shown a holiday in reference to it. I see symbols for a lot of things like dates and times in my readings for people. But one thing I will say, just like Journey said, is that everybody wants everything quickly. And if, like, let's say you call me or you call Journey or maybe you call Nikki for a reading and you say, well, you said I'd hear from so-and-so by so-and-so time, and I didn't. Well, there's always a factor in that. What did the person do, or what did you do? Did you do what we told you to do, or did you do what you wanted to do? Because when a reader tells you not to do something, there's a reason. So we know you want it to happen quicker or faster, but just like Journey said, you cannot, just because you feel a certain way, you cannot make the person be mature enough to feel that way about you instantaneously to turn around and be your Prince Charming. It doesn't work like that. And a lot of people that call us, like, they're like, well, why doesn't he act this way? Or why isn't he this way? He must not love me then. No, different people express their love differently. It doesn't mean they don't love you. Sometimes they're not ready for the intensity of stuff.
Absolutely.
But to answer your general question, yes, I do see time frames, but time frames are relative and time frames can change from what you do, especially with love. Love is very hard to read. It's very easy to pick up on. The intention is there. But love is very hard to read because people can change their minds. There's outside factors that can affect it. If you're dealing with somebody who's already in a relationship, or that you work with, or that you get moody with, or that you push them because you want it now, it's not going to work. People's moods and their ideas of stuff change. That's why you have to be so patient related to the question. It's not as solid sometimes as like a financial question or a work question because you're dealing with emotion.
Well, there are times where I get a time frame and I'll get the exact date, and that I will say, this is what I'm getting. This date through day. That's the date. But if I'm not getting that exact time frame, it's not meant to be that way. All energy is fluid.
And sometimes you're not meant to know something. So we won't see it. Or sometimes, and I can't speak for everybody in the panel, but I know for me, and I know some of you watching are not going to like my answer with this, but sometimes we're told not to tell you. Exactly. Because if we tell you, you will mess it up. And then you call us and go, what is this happening?
Hey, you should be so familiar with that. I mean, I don't know how many times you and I have had this conversation, and I can tell you, don't do that.
But Journey, I listen to you, okay? I do listen. After my move, I've listened.
Sometimes.
So, hey, no, after my move, I've listened.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I do take that into that. You are right. After your move, after the major punch in the face, And you've listened ever since.
Every time you've ever told me something, I listen and I don't waver from it. Not that you're Jesus, but
No,
I do listen.
not by any means.
If you tell me something, I do listen because
I have recently for sure.
I'm not after that
But
kaboffle
you know
with my
what?
movie.
You've been in such better spirits. The energy's been so good with you, and I've been extremely happy for you. And I was telling, I told Steven about it, and even Margarita and everybody who works with us. I've told everybody who we're really happy for you, and we're looking forward to all these new future things coming for you as we've done. Now, guys, you got to realize after the show, we have what we call the psychic party at the end of the show, and we sit and we talk and we bullshit and we have a good time, and sometimes we do psychic karaoke, but it's always fun. Now, Nikki, did you want to add, or Jesse, did you want to say something to the time frame part? I don't think we've gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, I want to add to that because so I do work with specific timelines. So I receive that. I'll receive, usually it's months and seasons is what I work with. And so I'll get like, okay, so coming into this season, but I also work a lot with numerology in order as a way of, it's symbology in order to organize and discern the energy content that I'm receiving. And so the numerology really helps me get pretty specific with timelines. So I do work with people on, I do like personal years. And so I'll break down their year in 4-month increments and stuff like that. But the duality of that is that I also do gatherings and teaching on helping people kind of detach from the idea of linear time and the meaning that that has on their life, because linear time really has kind of a deficit-based model that I try to help people detach from. But as far as receiving psychic information, definitely I work with time. And then I do receive information for the collective. I receive information for the collective a lot. And I am a channeler as well. So I also channel entity. So I'll have entity come in and just bring forth a bunch of information for what we're moving towards, what needs to be healed in the collective. A lot of it is very metaphysical, kind of science-based information. So pretty powerful stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming sometimes. There's been a few times where I'm like, I need to call a scientist. I need to call somebody at the college and work this out. Like, I've got to do enough years of college for this.
Right. And, timelines and stuff, they come with time as well. When you're first starting out and you're learning, sometimes you'll just get numbers. You may not know what these numbers mean, and they could be days, they could be weeks, they could be hours. And with time, you learn that. So, and, as I said, Jesse's learning, so he's getting his opportunity to get his chance to see how his gift works fully. But tarot is a great way to start learning how to do that, start flexing that muscle,
start learning and open yourself up and get used to it and trust yourself.
That's exactly right. That's the first thing you got to do.
When you start, there's a lot of doubt. Like, is this real? Am I really doing this? And then you're like, oh, okay, I am kind of right. And then you start developing it more and you get more confident and it starts to open.
Well, it's about realizing that it's not you, it's spirit working through you to help others. And once you realize that and you open yourself up to the messages that spirit has for you, and you trust that, even if it doesn't make sense to you or you don't understand the translation of the cards or whatever tool you may or may not be using, the more it will come through, but you have to trust it or it's not going to come through.
It may not always resonate with you, but it resonates with the person that's asking the question, that it's fluid with their lives. And it makes it all the much more fun, because then they're like, yes, oh my God, that is happening in my life too. But I was asking about Tom because I want to know about Tom, but yet your finances are in crisis, and Spirit's like, hey,
I've experienced that a couple times.
So I have to say though that I don't, I don't think that it is always spirit working through us, because and I think we all experience the access to our psychic abilities differently. But for me, that is a large portion of it, is spirit working through me or bringing the information. I definitely work with a lot of external sources, but I also have really been tuning into the fact that we are very powerful beings, and we have the ability to, we have just this really elevated ability of discernment and recognition of symbolism and patterns. And I think that comes from our divine capabilities. And so I don't think that that ability has to always be externalized to spirit working through us, although I do think that's a very valuable and large part of it.
Well, that's the thing about doing readings. We all view things differently. That's just for me. That's how I perceive my gift.
Yeah.
Is through spirit. I feel that it is not for myself. It is not me. It is a higher power.
Well,
so that's just my opinion.
Right, and everybody sees it in their own light and their own way, and
yeah, no, and I honor your perception for sure. I just wanted to add in another another flavor to that, because I think it's important for people to get a really multifaceted and multidimensional view of it, because that's why people are curious, is they're trying to understand it. So then it becomes our responsibility to provide as much perspective as possible, and so that's really my goal there.
Definitely.
Right, but you also can't make fruit punch without all the fruit. So each piece of fruit has its own flavor to bring punch. So it's definitely, everybody has their own way and their own technique and the way that they bring things forward, and everybody sees it in their own eyes differently than you may. Like, if someone looks at a pair of shoes and they're blue, and to you they look like they're dark blue, but somebody else sees them as black, or somebody else sees them as purple.
Yeah, we all have our own relationship with it, really, because it's a very intimate thing. And so we're all going to have that intimate relationship with our abilities differently. So I think it's nice opportunities like this to get to express that and show people what our intimate relationships are.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So Blanca says, were any of you guys afraid in the beginning, and who taught you to understand? Well, my parents and family members taught me how to understand. But I was never afraid, because I always understood it, because I had that opportunity to embrace it. Unlike, other people that don't get to embrace it until they're in their teens or later on in life. I didn't get that. I don't have that experience on that. But my family taught me to understand. And as I grew stronger, I kind of taught myself along the way as I learned my own development and how my abilities worked. So does anybody have an idea? Were you afraid? Because I grew up that experience.
I grew up, my grandfather was a pastor of a church, and I grew up, my family's primarily from North Carolina. So I grew up in the church. So I struggled with it to a degree, but I had dreams from the time I was little. And then when I was 20, I lived next to a woman who became my friend, and she was really into the Native American culture, and I am part Native American, so she taught me a lot about my heritage that way. And I would always get feelings about things and people, and I would tell them from a very young age. But my first experience was when I was 9 years old, and I had a dream that came to pass. I wasn't ever really scared of it, because I've always had feelings about things, and I've always told people. But because of how I grew up in the church, my denomination didn't really accept it, and doesn't to a degree unless it's in a church setting. So I always struggled with that to a degree, but I was never really scared of it. The only thing I was ever really frightened of was seeing spirits. But I wasn't ever really scared to see things and know things for people. No.
Nice. Jesse or Nikki, did you guys have a frightened experience, or were you frightened when you first started?
When I first started, I've had like, it's more of my subconscious. I don't think all things are bad, but like I grew up in a church where like this is bad. You're gonna go to hell for this, and you get judged and all that. So I was used to that. When I came over and started doing more of what you'd say a call, or just being a psychic or opening yourself up, that's witchcraft and you're going to hell. So I was scared of that, and then I'd have dreams or nightmares of things. But I think that was more of my own thoughts, making myself do that to myself, because my own beliefs. And it's kind of like I'm changing and trying to find my religion right now. So that's all I got. But I think it was more of my subconscious instead of being something.
Well, wanting to see spirit was something that I know that you're dying to do right now.
I have been.
Yes.
I'll
And that's
tell the ones that
backfired
are
on
at
me
my
a few
house
times.
from your house. How about that, Sophie? 'Cause
Well, you can't
Faith's
scare
gonna
my
send them
mom.
all over to you.
I will.
Well-
I will. Because I
Well,
don't.
my
I
mom
don't
already.
like when I see them when I see them in front of me, it freaks me out.
Well, you see on my camera all the time. You tell me all about it.
Okay, but listen, Journey, I'm not physically there. I'm not physically in your house. It's because I'm alone. If I wasn't alone, it wouldn't bother me. But I always see them like late at night when I'm alone, and that's when it freaks me out.
It never freaked me out. I just get that, I embraced it as soon as I was, able to walk and talk. I mean, I was capable of doing things before I knew it. And then my mom and my aunts and my dad, they've never stopped me from learning or educating myself outside of what the family knew. So they totally embraced it and told me to go on, be a champion. And, I did. And here we are.
Be a champion.
Exactly.
I have had a couple experiences that were a little unnerving. I didn't really go into it like fear-based necessarily, but I did have a couple mediumship experiences where I engaged with people who weren't who they said they were, and I don't want to really go into detail about that because I don't want to promote fear surrounding it. But it was upsetting, definitely. But I also felt like I was able to get a handle on that, set my boundaries, and I haven't had a problem since. And then I also, although I didn't grow up religious, I really can relate to what Jesse and Faith are saying, because something I just realized recently is how much kind of collective trauma I carry or revolving around my gift, right? And this shame. I noticed I was starting sentences with, well, this is weird, but, right? Or, feeling hesitant when people who I knew maybe were very conservative would say, oh, what do you do for a living? And so I've really just come to the understanding recently that I had to let go of that shame surrounding it, that there's no need to over-explain what I do, because I know how I use it and how I collaborate with it, and it's for the greater good, and it's for the domino effect of healing. And then another thing is I come from Celtic heritage, and I am really invested in my Celtic heritage and pagan belief system, and that's part of how I elevate my connection with spirit. And we were burning witches in America, not that long ago. And that's profound to me. So being a woman with this gift, I have some shame revolving around that too, and having to step into my power as a woman who is gifted without carrying like ancestral trauma from like the witch trials and the witch burnings and stuff like that. So there's that kind of fear, but I've had to really choose to deliberately step outside of that and own it.
Nice. So Ray asked another question here. Ray says, I was wondering, my question, do you have abilities to see what's coming on a global level, potentially for countries, governments, mass groups of people, etc.? Now, on that one, yes. I actually, Faith is a witness to this one.
And I've seen things before too, but I mean, who are you going to call? The White House? I've seen things way ahead of time and been told people, and they're like, no, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm seeing it. and then like a year later it'll happen.
The most recent big one that happened, the biggest one, I should say. There are other ones that I saw happening, but the biggest one I seen was I saw a war, but I saw a world war, but I didn't see guns, but I seen it affected the entire world, and it was, it was killing millions. And I was telling Faith, I said, I keep getting this, and I don't know what the hell it is. And I said, it's going to really be significant in June. And this was back in 2019. And I was like, it's going to be in June of 2020. It's really going to take its effect. And then boom, coronavirus was killing millions, and it was all over the world. And again, there was no guns. And I was like, and I told Faith, I said, I wonder if that's what this was, because that's when, even though it hit the U.S., technically in February, it didn't really, we didn't get the lockdowns and all that stuff till we got to June. And I feel that's what I was seeing. So to answer your question, yes, but it doesn't always come through as clear as you would like it to. And you're only, when it comes to things like that, because there's so many other energies involved, it is PC and choppy, because there's so much free will involved that you can't really pinpoint it. At least I couldn't at that time. But it actually frightened me, and I started buying, like, we were not going to have food at all. I started buying.
And he was like,
50-pound bags of rice, flour, sugar.
Prepping, going to the extremes.
And I didn't know what was going on. And my husband's like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm buying in bulk, and I don't know why. But I know something's coming. I can feel it. And sure enough, the food shortages are starting, and you know, there's a lot of shortages happening due to the fact that we haven't had the people out there to work and to do this stuff, because there was such a big thing. But yeah, that Ray, I do get visions like that. I do too, but it's like, who are you going to tell? I mean, what are you going to do? Call the White House and say, hey, I've been a psychic for over 20 years and I'm seeing this. I don't know exactly what this means, but I know this is going to happen. So,
and that's funny, Faith, when you say that, it's kind of a chuckle, who are going to call the White House. But I hear that and I resonate with that. That's kind of a little bit of the burden of the gift, because I've experienced that. And when I was saying, so I'm like, oh my God, I got to call scientists. I got to call the local college. I got to have somebody help me flesh this out. Because I've received information too, like the migration from California to the Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
I received that 10 years ago. I knew that was coming. And so I have stuff down now for stuff that's coming in the future too, but it's kind of lonely. It's like, what do I do?
I mean, I had told some of my psychic friends before, but they're just like, okay, yeah. And then when it happens, I'm like, see, I told you.
But the thing is, that's who you have as your psychic friends that you can communicate these things to with each other. And we compare notes sometimes. So like, I got something similar and I can add to what you saw because I got this piece of it. So sometimes we can piece a puzzle together. And we're like,
I think we have to remember that we're healers too. So when we receive that information, I'm just getting this now, we're not as powerless as we think. So even though we may not feel like we have anyone to call to come in and support us or to support that change that we know is going to occur, especially if it's something negative, we are healers innately. And so we have the power to set an intention for that and wrap that in light and wrap it in healing and go, okay, I've seen that this is going to happen. I'm going to set my best intention for it. And then we can ask our other healer friends in our community to set their best intention for it. And so I think we have to bring our power to that. Remember, we are powerful. We are powerful. We are powerful.
I know for me, I saw some racial tension stuff, specific things like a couple years ago. And then when they started happening like recent within the last 2 years, it kind of freaked me out because a specific thing happened that I saw in a flash. And I was like, whoa, okay, that happened. What do I do with that? And my friend I had told about it at the time when I had that flash. She was like, oh my gosh, Faith, you saw that and it happened. And I was like, yeah.
All right.
I know you guys were joking about the White House stuff or calling the White House, but even the CIA, they actually use psychics in Project Stargate and a lot of things throughout World War I, World War II, and throughout the years, and still do use psychics.
So does Russia and China.
Sure, but for more nefarious purposes. I don't want to work for the government.
Me neither.
I have zero interest in that.
I'm
burning my bra on the street, baby.
I've got 3 letters from the U.S. government that have asked me to come work with them. The answer was no.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Listen, this is how I look at it. Like, you know, people used to give Monica Lewinsky a bunch of crap about what happened with Clinton, but this is how I look at it. What was she going to say? No, she was going to say no to the president. He could have screwed up her taxes. No, thank you. I'm not doing anything extra for the government. Because if you take them off, ain't no telling what they'll do to you.
Exactly. All right. So Catherine says, have any of you had a dating fiasco happen with people who were weirded out when they found out it was something like, oh my God, they can read my mind?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes, I
have. Most people know before, because I'll have that conversation before we even go on a date, and they don't believe me at first, and then we go on the date, and I'm like, you're lying. Okay. And I start telling them about what happened, and they're like, wait a minute, you weren't even there, you don't even know me like that. I'm like, well, you're trying to bullshit me here, but I know differently.
Journey always has this.
My husband can't hide anything from me.
Journey, don't lie. You have that phrase where you're like, I'm psychic. Why do people lie?
I think that all the time. I look at people while they're bullshitting me, and I'm like, really? Okay.
My favorite saying is, it's your lie, you tell it.
Ooh, good one.
Your lie, you tell it, but you're trying to get answers.
There's a meme out there, and it's my third eye can see through your bullshit.
I need to put that on my Facebook.
I also tell people when they're starting to tell me their lie, and I'm listening to the lie, and I'm like, good thing I brought my boots, because shit's getting deep.
I've actually.
You know what? When people try to force a reading to go in their favor, Spirit has a sense of humor to start just saying random stuff. Nothing that makes sense. It's just random. And you can't even piece it together. You're like, what the hell is all this garbage? Because they don't want to give. Well, you start lying, and what the Spirit's doing is giving you a piece of each lie, and it makes 0 sense.
Oh, you mean like that person we know, Journey?
We won't go there. But we won't go there. But you know what I'm saying? It's like Spirit, if it's your lie and you want to tell it, Spirit will play games too.
Yeah.
It's another way to kind of see that someone's lying when you get those answers.
But I have had guys freak out about me knowing things and seeing things. I had an ex-boyfriend who would just give the phone over to people that he was friends with and be like, Faith, read this person. And I would start telling this person stuff about them, and they'd be like, holy shiz, how do you know this stuff? Or I have a friend now where he'll be leaving and I'll tell him something and he'll be like, don't tell me that. I'm not going to go do that. Like, I'll tell him what he's going to go get at the store, and then he'll turn around and go get that. And he's like, I'll be like, what, did you get cake or cupcakes? And he's like, I got cupcakes, like you said.
Ray wants to know, what is some of the most craziest, the most out there / crazy thing you've seen as a psychic when doing readings or getting downloads about people? That's a weird question, because I've seen people having sex.
Yeah.
I've seen people doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
I could go on for days. But I have to say the one reading that I kept telling this lady that the gentleman that she was seeing, and it kind of, I mean, it wasn't funny to her, but in my head, I was laughing because it was just funny. But on the day of Thanksgiving, she kept asking if her boyfriend, which was not her boyfriend, was coming. And I said, no, honey, he's going to be with his wife and children. Like I've been telling you the whole time.
Yikes.
And she's like,
I remember that lady because you
yes.
told me that.
Yes. She's like, is my boyfriend going to be with me? I was like, no, he's going to be with his wife and children. But that's not your boyfriend. But I want him to be. There's a difference between wanting to be and actually being. Come back to Earth. Get out of dreamland. And I hate what if world. I hate what if world. Well, what if this? Well, what if that? Well, what if the sun doesn't shine tomorrow? What if the earth stops moving? What if you can't breathe tomorrow? What if all the oxygen in the air is just gone?
But Journey, what if Jupiter was your hairbrush and you were riding a cat?
I would freaking love all
What
of that. I would what if that. I would so what if that. But people live in what if world. You cannot live in.
They do.
Live in the present, expect the future, remember the past, but live in the present.
I used to live in what if world.
Yes.
At one point, trying to figure out everything. It's like I just want to know everything about everything.
Yes, that's true. All right, so here we go. We got more people saying stuff. See here. Faith, what is your favorite color? Lisa wants to know, what is your favorite color?
My
Faith?
favorite color?
Yes.
You know, what's weird is it changes. Like for a few years, it'll be one thing, and then I'll switch it. I would have to say pink. Pink.
Pink?
Pink.
Nice. There's a song. It came to my head as soon as you said it. All right.
Pink's my favorite color
Benjamin
too.
wants to know, what do spirits do all day? Spirits do many things, but to describe everything you do, that's like trying to describe your every waking moment, everything that you do. They have their own purpose and they do their own thing. I couldn't say specifically what one spirit does all day long because I don't stay that connected all the time. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you got to pull yourself back and give yourself some time. That's why I give myself time limits of when I do readings and when I don't do readings, because I make sure I don't wear myself out, because the last thing you want is a burnt out psychic.
And people don't realize we do get burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
And we have lives just like all of you. So on top of doing this for our work, which we love all of you, and this is a privilege. It is a responsibility and a privilege to be able to help all of you, but we get burnt out too. And if we don't take time for ourselves to rejuvenate, then we're not going to be any good for you guys.
Right. Right. Tiffany says, if you try to give them a heads up, speaking about the White House, she goes, then it happens. I'd be worried the FBI would come knocking and thinking you're involved.
That's a good point, right?
That's my mind before.
That's a
Yeah.
How do you
valid
know
point.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were interested in hearing Benjamin's answer. Benjamin, that was a really good question, and thank you for it. But, yeah, you know, that's like trying to say he touched his nose, he scratched his hair, he walked through the hallway, he blinked his eyes 45 times from one door to the next. I mean, it's really hard to know what each spirit does all day long.
I think it's important to know that they have purpose.
Exactly.
Right? So our purpose isn't just when we're earthside. They have purpose. Their form is different and they're disconnected from the earth plane. However, you have to remember this is where time comes in. There's no time over there. So it's cyclical. So you have to imagine. So people are, I think, sometimes surprised when they connect with a loved one and that loved one is no longer angry, no longer belligerent, no longer this. Now, it's not that they just turn into an angel after they pass and become a totally different person. They have the same personality, but their perspective is shifted and different because there's not that time limit on everything. So the linear time that we experience here really changes our demeanor and our personalities and governs how we interact with people, because it's like we have to do this by this age, and there's not enough time for that. There's disappointment and grief that comes along with that, right? So you have to imagine that this huge weight lifted off of your shoulders. And if there's something that they need to learn or participate in, there's no deadline to it because time is cyclical. So everything just comes back around and around and around and around. So that really elevates their perspective, and then their interactions become different. So that's why when people connect with loved ones after they pass, their energy is lighter and brighter. They forgive super easily. Their grudges are gone, stuff like that. So from my experience, my mother who's passed, I've worked with her quite a bit actually in my mediumship. She assists me in my readings. And I know that one of her purposes is she sits by the door and helps usher people in as I read for them. She helps usher spirit in from the other side. She sits in a chair, although that's just what I visually pick up. I don't believe that she's actually sitting in a chair. That's what she represents to me. She's sitting in a chair by the door, and she assists in orderly manner of spirit coming through and giving me information when I'm in a session with someone. So they definitely have jobs, if you want to call them jobs.
Exactly. Catherine said Nancy Reagan was big on having Ronnie listen to her psychic. Absolutely. I remember that. She was still, even after his passing, she was for that.
Mm-hmm. Princess Diana went to a psychic too. A lot of famous people go to psychics.
Absolutely, they sure do.
Pretty much the entire Bible too.
They actually do come. I've talked to celebrities. I've talked to people who have worked for the White House, who are in the White House, people who are senators, mayors, the police department. I've actually helped, quite a few police departments help find people. I'm actually helping somebody right now. I've been trying to scry for their energy to find out where they're at, looking at different places, knowing that their energy was there, but it's not there. They're moving around a lot. And unfortunately, due to their circumstance, the person in which we're looking for, his mind is scrambled, to me always indicates that they have some type of substance within them, meaning they're high on something, or, well, when they're drunk, I can see it, but, there's a reason they call it spirit. You know what I mean? Your spirit gets a little tipsy too, but when you're on drugs, it really just scrambles the brain, and when you go to look or try to find that person, it's really hard to pick up on them, and it's unfortunate. Because you want to touch the person in which you're trying to communicate with, but unfortunately, sometimes you just don't get that.
Yeah, it prevents you from accessing them. So, from my experience in work, even when I'm not necessarily looking for someone, but I have a client in my office and I'm doing a session with them, I let them know that this is a collaboration. It's not like a hierarchy. I'm the psychic and you're the humble client or anything like that. Like, our higher selves are up here, bringing down information together. So I need that person as clear as day. Like, come stone cold sober, baby, leave the pain medication at home. Yep. Even prescription stuff, if you can go without it for a couple of hours, be hydrated and ready to work. Because even though you think you're just sit here getting a session, baby, we're both working. And so I can relate to that interference that intoxication brings to the table.
And, like you said, when they're sitting there and people are like, they're getting a reading, they are working too. We are using their energy. We are channeling through them in order to get to who they're talking about. And sometimes I can run into that person they're talking about, and this person's higher than a kite, and it's like coyotes, mountains, trees, dog shit, element of P. You're like, what the hell is all this? They are not my sound of mind. Sorry, but that ain't working. So let's look at the energy that surrounds them, because I cannot connect to them. So I have to look at their actions versus what they're thinking or what they're feeling, because what they're thinking and feeling is not exactly what they're really thinking or feeling. Their mind is scrambled because whatever they're on is scrambling the mind. All right, let's see. Let's see some other stuff here. Miriam asked something too. Miriam said something, but I'm trying to find what she says. Do we live in a hologram? We live on the earthly plane, if that's what you mean. There are multiple planes, but we live on this one right now. So to say if we live on a hologram, I couldn't say that if that's what you're calling the planes now versus calling it a plane or calling it holograms, like the moons are like super moons now, and now the new moon's now called the dark moon. I was like, no, it's still the new moon. I don't care how many times we change the names, they're still the same thing. So I'm assuming your hologram is I guess the plane.
When she says hologram, I think she's talking about like the computer reality, a simulated reality that we're living in, and we're all just a simulation.
Or something.
Because there is that theory that we're all just in a computer with the simulation.
But I just don't. When looking at it psychically, that is definitely not what I see. We all have our rights to choose what we do. We get free will the minute we're born. Yes, we have to abide by certain rules, but they are the rules of the people, not the rules that were in place from, because you're supposed to experience everything yourself. Each life you live, you experience something new, something you didn't experience the life prior. And, someone's asked me a question the other day about suicide, because everybody's like, oh, you live so many lives and then you move on. And I was like, well, they're like, well, what happens when you commit suicide? Well, you start over from day one. Like you're shot right back. You're not getting out of living that experience. And that's what I've seen personally from someone who's done that. They were born right back into the world. It was immediate. They didn't even have a chance to cross over or do nothing. It was like, oh, you're out of your body? Slam, you're right back into one. Enjoy that. You don't do things like that. That's what I saw personally myself.
I just seen something from the camera.
I do perceive a certain framework, a network of framework.
Right.
A network of frameworking, which we can hear referred to as maybe like the Matrix. I don't see that as holographic or as a simulation, as in because the simulation to me represents being an experience that is a hoax, right? And so I don't perceive it that way. However, I do see a framework that is meant to limit our perception and our understanding of things. And to what extent that serves, that purpose that serves,
right,
I can't make a statement on. I do think that there's a benefit to breaking outside of some of that framework. However, I don't know if we're meant to break outside of all of it or not. And so I try not to speak on things if I'm not certain, but I think, yeah.
Ray said, damn, I didn't realize you see that much. Well, people, the cat's out of the bag. There ain't no privacy in life. Actually, as a reader, I don't read people who don't want to be read. So if they're not open, there are certain things that people want to know that the other person is not willing to share. I'm not going to share that information with you. You can get mad at me. You could want to punch me in the face. But, that's their right to have that type of privacy. And just like if they came to me and there was something about you that you didn't want them to know, I would not be sharing that information with them. I have the same doctor, patient, you know what I'm saying? I respect people.
There's ethics, right? We have ethics as psychics, and obviously our individual morality that we bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Jesse, what were you going to say?
Tiffany said she saw something on your screen fall down. I saw it as well. There was an orb, like a white orb that came down like this beside you. I was going to say, but I didn't want to interrupt you. So when you were talking about the spirit that the person that committed suicide was right around there, They were getting slammed into the other body. I noticed that as well. I've seen it.
There's a bunch of things that if Faith could sit here for an hour and tell you all the stuff she's seen on my screen.
Let's not discuss that because they do that to me on purpose because, look, no, I don't want to chat with you, Alexa.
I love it.
Nikki, are you still good? I know you had a client that you need.
Oh, yeah. It's 8:06. Yeah. So I need to jump off, guys. But thank you for having me. And I'm really grateful to have heard your perspectives, Faith, and Jesse. You guys had a lot to offer, and I'm grateful to get to know you in that way. And I'm excited to work with you more. For sure. So have a good night, guys, and bye, everyone. Thank you for asking questions and coming on.
It was very nice to connect with you, Nikki. I hope you have a good reading, and I hope I get to talk to you more.
Yes. All right. Sending you guys so much love tonight. Talk to you soon.
Have a good night. It's good to hear from you as well.
Bye, guys.
All right. So it's just the three of us here. We're going to answer a few more of these questions here. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm trying to get back to where we were. Blanca says,
how did I know it was Blanca? I knew it, man. I started to say, is it Blanca?
She said, keep it PG, laugh out loud. And Journey is too real for me sometimes. Guys, I try to keep it real, but I try to keep the energy flowing. You know, there's two things in life that you remember more so than anything in the world. That's something that made you laugh and hatred. And that's an unfortunate thing because love comes third to that because you remember the most loving things third in those places. But hate is always number one. You can always remember when someone hated on you. You then remember the funniest jokes that you remember for 20 years ago. And then you've got that love that you remember. So it's always third. And I've noticed that. And I really want love to go back to number one and comedy to be number two. And then, you know, hate can be all the way at the bottom of the list. You know what? People have opinions. The only way they have power is if you allow those words to have power. Don't give the words power. You know what's right about you. And you know what? If other people are going to think these things about you, then they really weren't your friends and they don't know who you are. So remember that the next time someone talks shit on you. Because, guys, I'd be batting haters all day long. All day long. Look at the trolls that come into the show. All day long trying to do stupid stuff and tell you stupid stuff. And if they're your accurate readings and blah, blah, blah. Well, if your readings are so accurate, throw your own lives. Stop going to other people's lives and trying to steal their people. Why? Because you're a fraud. So you can go F yourself. And that goes to all the trolls that live under bridges. I hope your bridge collapses on your fucking head. Anyway.
There's nothing better to do with their lives.
Exactly. Okay, so Lisa wanted to let you know that hers was purple. Lisa, I concur. My favorite color is purple.
One of my favorite colors is purple. My glasses are purple.
Yeah. Don't lose them. You lose those things more than you have them on your face.
Hey, look, I'm not losing them so much as I broke them a couple months ago, but I super glued them back together. Well, I didn't. A friend did. And
Journey, my birthday is the 12th, so you should to have a happy birthday song. Laugh out loud. You know, for your birthday, Lisa, unfortunately, we won't be on the air, but come back on the 21st, which is your birthday swapped. It's also the first day of summer.
I'll remember. What day does that fall on, Journey?
Monday.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Lisa, join us on that Monday, the 21st of June. We'll be here. We'll give you a birthday happy day. All right. So Blanca says, do the spirits get clingy on to deliver? They do get clingy sometimes. Sometimes you've got to tell them to chill out.
Or sometimes, and this has happened with your husband, Blanca.
Yes.
When he came through trying to help somebody else.
Exactly.
They will bug us till we give someone a message. So we have to, because if we don't, they'll still bug us.
Absolutely. All right.
I think they come to you guys more because you can actually like you understand. So like, oh, someone that understands it can listen and portray it. So they're like, hey, listen to me, listen to me.
Well, your light's just now starting to shine in the way that Spirit will start to slowly communicate with you. So it's going to take time, Victor. Like I said, you're my student. I brought you on board. I'm going to teach you what I know, and you'll be doing this with the best of us, and rocking the best life.
Jesse, it really takes time. I mean, I've been doing readings for 24 years. So it doesn't happen overnight. And Journey can attest to that too. It doesn't happen overnight at all.
I've realized that. I've tried to rush it and force it and try to make things work, and it's like, no, you're not going to do it this way. You got to stop and listen. A couple times.
Yeah.
But it's like, you just got to be patient and let it happen.
We have had that argument many times.
Yeah.
But Tiffany says, have you had Spirit from a client reading try to stick around afterwards? Every day.
Heck yeah.
Every damn day.
Heck yeah.
They live here.
Or they'll come back and be like, oh, you forgot to tell so-and-so. Or sometimes, like this has happened to me with a few of our clients on the site, that where their family member will come through first and be like, my granddaughter's going to call you in like 30 minutes. And I'm like, okay, just sit over there while I watch TV. And they'll hang out. Or they'll give me a message and then their granddaughter will call in 30 minutes. So, they stay around. But really and truly, I can't speak for Journey or for Jesse. They don't come to me in physical form where I can see them. So it doesn't bother me. Now, when they start to, or when I start to feel that, I freak out. That's why I'm like, please don't do that. I've seen shadow people a couple times, and
I love it when
I've seen the shadows.
I love it when the non-believers come to my house and they're like, oh, I don't believe in any of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. I said, sit in 15 minutes in my house. My husband will not stay in the house. If the power goes out, he's in the car.
This is the thing, y'all. This is the thing. Like, Journey wanted me to come stay with them, and I'm like, no. And Journey's like, but Faith, you're psychic. And I'm like, yes, but I know what's in your house. Like, I see it on the screen. I'm not. And listen, y'all, this is the thing about Journey y'all don't know. Journey likes scary movies. Faith, no.
They're entertaining to me.
He does like his scary movies. I do know that.
Faith likes Charmed. Faith likes Once Upon a Time. Faith likes Jurassic Park. And Faith likes romantic comedies and things about history. I don't like those scary movies. No.
That's all right. I'll go to Texas and watch some scary movies. There's a buddy over there. So, that's where Tiffany said, I just saw something on Journey's screen. It falls down after he said boom right back. That happens a lot, Tiffany. Watch some of the shows. I've seen stuff in the background. Some of my books and stuff move. The globe changes. It's subtle, so you got to pay attention. I'll watch back some of the stuff that we were talking about, and I'm like, oh, shit, did you just see that? And didn't know it was happening at the time because so much is going on. But in the background, they're like, look, I can move this. I can do this. Look what I can do is what they're doing. But that's just what happens at my house. Lights go out, turn back on, TV turns itself on, shuts itself off. Things go through the house. But that's why if the power goes out, you'll find my husband in the car.
And you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to him. I know he's doing his stuff, but Steve and I'd be right there with you. I'd be like, gone.
I would like that so I can play jokes with my friends or whatever. Be like, hey, but just touch me. I don't know. And then have something move across the room. Like, oh no, I'm out.
Well,
Just to watch.
the thing about it is that at first I thought, oh, I moved into another haunted house. Oh, I moved into a haunted house. But, I was like, wait a minute. This is my mediumship. It's just on, and they just are attracted to it. So they follow me everywhere I go. So it doesn't even bother me anymore. I learned that back when I was 15. I was like, they're just going to follow me everywhere I go. So I'm not worried about it.
Praise God that one prediction that you've seen for me thus far has not come to pass where I'm seeing them in physical form. Because I swear if I do, I'm coming to your house and I'm going to have a mental break. I wouldn't care to see them in physical form if I wasn't alone. And when I almost see them in physical form, it's nighttime and I'm alone and it scares the bejesus out of me.
Ray says I should be studying, but I can't help myself. This is my favorite show.
Well, thank you, Ray. We love you too.
Exactly. Oh, and Catherine, but tell us how you really feel, Journey. Never. Not me. Listen, if I don't say it with my words, my face is going to tell you.
Listen, if y'all really saw the after shows that we have, oh my gosh, y'all be laughing y'all's butts off. Y'all would be laughing. We turn on the music, I start dancing, we start acting stupid.
Gotta act silly sometimes. Okay. Miriam says, what advice do you have for someone who wants to open their third eye? I say do it, but do it slowly, but don't do it by yourself.
Don't push yourself.
Exactly.
Don't push yourself. Let it come freely. If you see something for someone, even if it's something small, like let's say your friend's talking about a guy and you've never met him and you just see he might have brown hair. Say, does he have brown hair? Whatever it is, no matter how small it is, just say it because that's a form of confirmation. And the more you trust it, the more that it will come through. But if you have questions about that or you want to get deeper with it, talk to someone like me or Journey, someone who's been doing it a long time, and there are exercises and things that we can teach you.
Miriam, if you're wanting to do something like that right now, I'm going to be giving away the free tarot classes to help with the psychic ability and psychic development. So email the site, go to mypsychicconnection@gmail.com, put tarot class, and we'll talk. That way I can teach everybody. It'll be a class on Facebook for all of us to sit together and talk, and we will go over the tarot. Jesse's going to be there as he's, developing him. He can help talk and let you guys know his experience, how he's been doing it, and how he's been progressing. Okay.
Now I was going to say, before you start doing it, make sure you research and understand what you're doing before you actually do anything. And like they said, get advice from them, because you can do things that you don't even realize.
Well, I'm going to stop you on that. I'm going to stop you on that because you started researching and Googling the shit out of stuff, and it was all the wrong information. So talk to somebody who knows. Because I had to stop you from that because you got yourself in trouble with that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, to make sure you ask someone that knows and figure out what you're doing before you do things, because it can backfire.
All right. Yeah. 2 weeks. Oh, Jen's like, what? You're not going to be here? Yeah, we're not going to be here for 2 weeks, guys. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to have a summer show.
You can call us on the site. You can still call us on the site.
I think they just like to listen to us banter back and forth.
Yeah.
The thing is that, we're going to be back. You guys are going to get to see Faith do a couple hosting shows, guys.
I am.
Uh-huh. She's going to have some fun with that. Give me a little chance to sit back and watch everybody else interact with other people. Be a human for a change. All right. So there's some more stuff here. It says, how do I turn that light off once it's lit? Laugh out loud. When it comes to your spiritual growth, once it's on, it's on.
You can dull it. If you don't use it, it will dull, but it will never completely go away. Even if you try to fight it, and you're like, I'm not going to do this, or I'm seeing stuff, but I don't want to,
Exactly.
It's going to go completely away. It won't. As a matter of fact, sometimes when you try to deny you have it, it'll push through harder because sometimes you have to realize as a reader or as someone with these kind of gifts, there's a reason that you have them, and it's to touch other people and to impact people. And if you don't use them properly, it can be dulled, but it will never go away.
Right. The thing about it is too, it's like you got to put boundaries too, not on your gift, but on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I will look at that another time, unless it's an important message, and you'll know when the importance comes through, Tiff.
And sometimes if you're not careful, you'll burn yourself out.
You need to be sending me an email too, little Miss Tiffany. We got me and Tiffany are working on a project together, so she needs to get in contact with me about the classes. How do you get them to lead? The spirits? Oh, they leave on their own.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Yeah,
they leave when they want to leave. But here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. They will respect you if you say, don't materialize in front of me, or don't do crazy stuff in my house, or don't do that. They won't. Because
That's the whole making boundaries.
It
says we won't let Journey have a holiday. Laugh out loud.
Journey, listen, y'all. Don't let Journey fool y'all. Journey don't let himself have a holiday. He's perpetrating. Because let me explain something about Journey. Journey's gonna say, "This is gonna be a 2-week vacay. I'm gonna go on a vacay. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna watch movies with my husband and do things around the house." And I'll call him and he'll be like, "Babe, look, I'm reviewing the floor. Babe, look, I'm getting the show set up for next season. Babe, what about this show? Babe, look, I'm designing t-shirts. Babe, look, I got a new business card." Journey isn't really going on a vacation, y'all. Journey's translation of a vacation is, I'm taking a 2-week break from the shows so I can do extra crap.
So I can do extra crap.
He's constantly working 24/7.
Even in his sleep.
True. Let's see here. Ray says, I flippin' begged Spirit to show themselves to me. I used to demand it as a little kid, and they never came. They can go to who doesn't want it. Ha ha ha.
Ray, do you want me to send them to your? I'll send you the ones at my house to your house. Go to Ray's house, y'all, and let her see you. She'll be
Ray,
sending
I
you
would
back.
say that at my house, but then your house is not big enough for all the freaking spirits that come through here. Like
Mine are mostly family, so have fun with that.
Just hang out and talk to spirits all day. Just ignore everybody else. Say, hey, how's your day going? I would do that.
Not a psychic question. What is your first concert and who was your last? My first concert was Green Day. I went and seen Green Day. So, my last concert, oh man, who was that? It was a group. It was a whole bunch of bands. It was a country group, like a whole bunch of different country singers. It was like Alan Jackson and Travis Tritt, Martina McBride, and Dolly Parton made an appearance. And this was at this little festival down the road. They have like a music land down the road from here, and they have all kinds of cool and fun stuff there. So that was my first concert was Green Day. That big concert was my last. Faith.
Okay, so no judgment here, and I know when I say this Journey.
Are you gonna say Spice Girls?
No. But you're still gonna laugh at me.
I'm pretty sure I am.
My first concert, I was like 13 or 14 years old, and it was New Kids on the Block. So I'm telling my age here, okay? And look, I'm not even gonna lie. I would go.
I was waiting for you to say Skinner. You were watching Leonard Skinner before they were Leonard Skinner.
My first concert was Nikki Taylor,
Mhm.
and my last concert that I went to, I wish I could say it was something else, but this is still cool, was in 2011, and I went to see Kiss. So
Oh, that's cool.
and I had really good seats. I was third row from the front.
Nice.
I could actually feel the pyrotechnic stuff heat off of the flames and stuff. It was really, really awesome and cool. But I love all kinds of music, just like I know Journey does too. So there's not anything that I wouldn't listen to.
Mine was Skillet. My first concert was a Skillet, Toby Mac, and I think it was Red or Flyleaf with them. And my last one, it was like Five Finger Death Punch,
Well,
Korn, Rob Zombie, some of the heavier stuff.
That's really going from one
Slipknot.
extreme to the other.
Yes.
So Rob Zombie, Slipknot, a bunch of other metal bands. I'm more into the Warped Tour and the metal stuff.
But I love music. I love all kinds of music, from like music from the 80s and now, and I love Enya, and I love all kinds of stuff. Alexa plays music for me all the time at random.
Music is definitely a therapy. I like it all.
Ray said, send them
I did not say for you to play music, Alexa.
yeah, we don't have the rights to the music. Don't play it on here.
Alexa,
Shut up! Shut up! Tell her to shut up!
You're gonna tell her to stop.
So
She did.
Ray said, Faith, send them my way. Laugh out loud. I live alone and I'm in lockdown. I need some friends.
Yeah, I love EDM too.
Okay, I will do that, but just know it's mostly my family and they're annoying. Well, they might not be annoying to you.
Someone said, Metalhead. Oh, that was Catherine. Says, yes, I love my metal. Doom and sludge metal are my faves. Makes my mouth water.
I
Wow.
definitely love metal.
Well, there's something I would have never guessed about Catherine.
Faith just turned my Alexa blue.
Catherine,
No.
Sorry.
Ones that are more annoying than me laugh. They'll probably get sick of me talking about the spirits. Guys, this has been fun. I've had a great time. We're gonna go on our summer. We're gonna go on our what I'm calling my small summer break before we go to the summer shows. We're going to do a different type of lineup. I can't wait for you guys to see how that goes. Now, I know you guys are used to the way we do it right now, but for the summer show, it doesn't work that way.
It's going to be very different.
It's going to be very different, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait for you guys to enjoy that energy, have fun with it. You'll be seeing our faces there, of course. We've got new psychics coming on board. On season 2, anybody who's learning with me with the psychic stuff is going to get their opportunity to make their debut. So keep that in mind. You don't always have to, but we definitely are trying to encourage you guys to branch out and allow yourselves to be yourself. So let's grow them third eyes and let's make some muscles. Let's flex some muscles. All right, guys. This is awesome. Jesse, Gifts of Faith, enjoy your vacations, guys. Jesse, you need to study. Faith, take a break.
Oh, please.
A lot of studying to do.
Please, you know me. I got to go travel tomorrow.
I know. Have fun. Be safe on that.
I'm hoping that it'll be okay.
Ray said, I love to see the animal communicator stuff. I definitely do that. I have a lot of animals here.
He does. He has a lot of animals that have crossed over too.
Anybody who deserts an animal, they end up here. So.
Hey, did your puppy have the puppies yet? Or
no, she's going into labor in the next few days. She's already started.
You didn't tell me she was having puppies. She's having.
I didn't.
I probably just blocked it out.
Yeah, the one dog got dragged across the yard. It was
Yes, Roscoe. No, Roscoe.
Yeah, Roscoe. Yeah, Roscoe.
Sabrina ran, and he was stuck.
Oh, Lordy.
She dragged him behind him, but he was a happy little dog.
I wanted to have one that looks like her for a change. She always has one.
The blonde ones. They look like her, except they were blonde.
Oh, I didn't realize that last time.
Yeah, the blonde ones look just like her with the long, beautiful hair. Yeah. I'm sure she'll have more of those. She only had one litter that had them that looked like her. The rest of them looked like him. I love the fact that this lady gave up this dog, said he couldn't breed because he didn't have the equipment. And as soon as I got him here, he gets my dog pregnant.
Well, maybe he was happier at your house. You know, sometimes changing your environment totally changes you.
Well, he only liked me, so he doesn't like anybody else. It took 2 years for my husband to even go near him. 2 years.
And the sad thing is, your husband's such a sweetheart. He really, really, really is. He's like one of the sweetest people.
Email, sweetheart. I just got your email. I got Ray's email. I got a couple of emails. Emma's going to join us. A couple other people. We're gonna build this team. We're gonna get you guys some readings, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do things the right way, so that way you don't get screwed up and listen to all the misreads. Because I've seen some tragic stuff out there, and I was just like, I can't believe people are believing this. So I don't mention names, and I don't try to hate on people, but it's out there, and I've seen it. I was like, how in the hell are you believing that crock of shit? Like, seriously. So, but guys, this has been super exciting and fun, and I'm glad we got the chance to just sit down and bullshit and have fun. And guys, June 21st, be there or be square. We will be back with a new and fun show. Get ready for it. Jesse, Faith, thank you guys so much for being here. We love you, and we will talk to you on the 21st.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, sorry, guys. You guys have a beautiful and fun little vacation from us. There's reruns you can watch, or you can find us on the website at mypsychicconnection.com. Guys, have a beautiful one, and we'll talk to you June 21st.